In this video, we will discover Sculpt Mode. So the first thing we will need to do to start to sculpt an object is having enough definition into it. So for example, here I cannot sculpt this object because it doesn't have enough vertices. So what I will do, I will just go here and make a control 2 to have modifier subdivision into it and increase the level until a lot. Maybe I go until 8 to maybe until 9 will be good to start to have really enough density. So it will be a lot of vertices into one object, but for sculpting you need this. I will just apply this and go now into Sculpt Mode. Okay, so you can see that now you have a new interface, and this is a really important feature sculpting in 3D design. So in my opinion, if you are in sculpting, if you want to be in sculpting, so create characters or things like that, it will be very good to have a tablet. A graphic tablet will help you to have more definition with your strokes and more precision. It will be far more easier to sculpt with that. For the purpose of this training, I will not use tablets because I know some beginners, they will just want to discover things, and so I will not use tablet for this. But when I want to sculpt something and that I know that I will take some time for sculpt, I will use my graphic tablet, and it's really more efficient and yeah, more easy. So let's go for here discovering the interface. So first of all, you see that you have a tool, okay? So this tool, you can increase the size with F. You know already the shortcuts because we did the same into texture paint mode. So I will show you here the little shortcuts. So with F, you increase the size, okay, just like this. So if you sculpt like this, you will add some geometry, okay? With Shift F, you will increase or decrease the strength of the stroke, so of the tool. So for example, if I put 1, I will have something that will have a big tool. I did enable something by mistake here. It's the stabilized stroke. So you see that I will have a big influence like that. But if I just with Shift F go back with 0 point something, you will have a very low influence into your object, okay? Here you have the tools, and here too. So again, here it's some kind of presets of desk tools that you can find. You can basically play only with all desk tools, and there will be enough for playing with that, okay? I will show you the tools into other videos. We will just play with that one for first, okay? So yeah, here are the tools, and here let's say some presets of the tools, and you can use that. It's very efficient in my opinion. Here you have the radius and the strength. With the right click you can find back the radius and the strength as well, the auto smooth as well, sometimes it's useful. Here you have the plus and the minus. So if you use the plus, you will add some geometry. If you use the, oops, sorry, it's not that one. If you use the minus, you will remove geometry. So you will dig into the geometry. So you can just play with that with the control key, okay? Let's say you are with the plus option by default. If you use control key, you will just invert the tool. So let's say, for example, this tool will create some something like that by default, okay? If you invert the tool with control, you will go with this, okay? So can be very useful to work with this control key. Another key that is very useful is when you did this, so I will make Control Shift V to come back with this, and that you want to smooth, you will use here the Shift key. So Shift and left click, you will just smooth the surface like that. Okay, so it can be useful in some cases. So just remember that simple click, you add geometry. Control click, you remove geometry. You invert, let's say, the tool. And with Shift, you will just here smooth the geometry. Okay. So here you have options for your brush. You have option to add some textures, and we will come into it during an entire video because there are a lot of things to understand. We have the strokes. One important key, in my opinion, for the stroke here is the stabilized stroke that can be very useful. So for example, if you want to make a precise curvy design, so you will just the stabilized stroke like this, and you will have something that is more easy to manage, okay, to have this kind of behavior. You have the fall off option. So let's say, for example, this one here, if you use a sphere, okay, and increase maybe at this, you will have something that looks different with this, okay, with this kind of settings. Here you could increase into the stroke option the spacing. So more you increase that, and more you will have the dots that will be big. So let's go remove the stabilized stroke. You will have the dots that will be with a strong, a big distance between them, okay? But let's say you put 0.2 or 1% maybe, okay? You will have something that is very better to work with, okay? So here, that's it for the stroke and the fall off. And the cursor, you can display the cursor or not. I recommend to use this always. You can play with the colors if needed, but honestly, I don't use that much. Okay, so you can switch from Sculpt mode to object mode. Even in the basic layout, you can go in Sculpt mode as well, okay? And they will give you directly this into the 3D view. So can work as well, but here in the sculpting here interface, you have really everything that is done for that. When you play with textures, I like to use here the tools here, okay? It's exactly the same thing that we can find here, okay? And I like to have the texture over there. Like this, I can manage the textures here and play with the tool. So this is the only change that I would make for this interface. Here you have some symmetry options. You have the dynamic topology and the remesh, and we will talk about it into the next video, because we have several ways of adding density for sculpting. And this is the most important thing to understand, is that sometimes you need more density to play with some details or something like that. And you will use these features, but they are a little different. And you have another way with a modifier as well. So I will show you that into the next video, how to manage here the density of your mesh. So let's go for this into the next video. In this video, we will see how to add density into our meshes to can sculpt into them. So basically you have three options, three main options. Some are non-destructive, some are destructive. And I will show you the three, and you will see the inconvenience and the advantages of these three methods. So let's see that for the first one, I will use the modifier. So here I will just add a mesh monkey. And let's say I would like to add some details into this monkey and sculpt into this. So I have the possibility to add a generate here multi-resolution. A multi-resolution modifier here is a specific modifier for Sculpt, and you can increase the level of subdivision, okay? Exactly the same as the subdivision surface. And let's say I will go into 4 subdivisions like this. Like this, I can start to have enough vertices to sculpt. So it's good sometimes to play with the wireframe value here and to see where you are really in terms of density. So what I like to use for that is just make a right click into this and put this into the quick favorites. Like this, when you use Q, you will find the wireframe option directly, and it's easy to just show the wireframe like that, okay? So here we have a level like this. I could add more, but let's keep it like that. Okay, good. You can see that you can add some subdivision with simple and linear in case you don't want a smooth subdivision, okay? You can unsubdivide if you need, and you have other options to reshape, for example, or to apply the base. So this can be interesting as well. And yeah, that's it. So here you can see that you have 3 levels. You have the level viewport, the same as the subdivision modifier. We have the render viewport here, and we have the sculpt. So this, for example, can be a level of 2 in the viewport, a level of 4 into the render. And now if I switch to sculpting, you can see that I will have the view like this. You can notice that if you turn around the geometry, you will have the level viewport that will appear, okay? So this is easy to understand. If you just increase that, after it will be easier. And you have a possibility for navigation to keep this, because sometimes you see you sculpt some details here, let's say, and when you turn around you will not see the details anymore, okay, because it gives you a fast navigation when you turn around the object. So what you can do to disable this, you can go into the options and remove the fast navigate. Like see, like this, you see always the details that you did sculpt, okay? So here is basically the subdivision, the multi-res modifier. And let's say I start to sculpt something into, let's say this part over there. Okay, so I will create just a pattern like this. Okay, just easy, simple, just something simple like that. And okay, so I have this. And maybe I will change a little more the topology, the global topology. So for this, a very good one is the grab tool. So I like to increase the size of it, and like this I can manage this. It's a little like the shape keys that we, if you remember well, maybe I would like to add some here, something like that, okay, and change really the topology to have something totally different. So I want bigger here, just like this, okay. So simple, I did create a new topology now. So the global shape of my entire model did change, okay. So now what I can do just with this is showing the result without this one, and you can see in edit mode we still have exactly the same topology as before. So it's the modifier that changes everything there. If you want, for example, to apply the base, you just go into here, into the shape, and apply the base. So what it will make, it will create a new basic one in edit mode, okay? So without the modifier, it follows the geometry that I did create now. So bigger ears and everything, okay? So sometimes it's important to manage this as well. So this one is a very powerful one. The cons of this method here, it's that when you want to really change the topology drastically, like adding something that doesn't exist into your model, you cannot. Like for example, here, I would like to add some horns, let's say, okay? So I will use this tool to add some horns. And when I do this, okay, after a moment, I will start to not have enough geometry here to make the horns the shape that I want. You can see that we don't have really a good definition over there. So it's limited by the number of subdivision that you have here, okay? You could add subdivision, but with little details, like if I want to add something here, for example, create a horn here, it will really not be possible over there because I don't have enough geometry. And even if I subdivide more time, it will not be possible. So it's a kind of limit of this method here, okay? You cannot really create the shape that you want. Or let's say, for example, you would like to create a bust of Suzanne and you would like to create something and create the neck maybe, or something like that, and starting to create the neck. At the moment, you will not have enough geometry in this neck to create really what you want to create, okay? So you will, okay, start to have a shape, but after a moment you see that you will not have enough details to continue with the shoulders or anything like that because it doesn't have enough geometry. By default, it's just a subdivision of the basic object, okay? So it will be okay to adding some details on a mesh that has already its global shape, okay? But not for changing drastically a shape like this. Because here, if I want, for example, to reshape, apply the base here, you can see that here we will have really low poly. So it will not be a good base mesh over here. Honestly, we don't have the same kind of the level of density here and here. So it will not be that good. So it's very good, this one, to play for that. Another limit of the multi-resolution, for in my experience, is where you want to add details and change this in edit mode. So for example, you change the number of vertices and of faces in edit mode, and let's say you would like to create a shape like this in edit mode. For example, let's create kind of horn over there, okay? So let's go here, and maybe we want to extrude that in both sides here. So I will make just an extrude and an Alt S to have this kind of shape here. And with S, I will just change the shape of that. And then after, I would just add some loops to have enough density. So 5 loops here and 5 loops here. Like this, I'm sure to have exactly the same geometry. So here, you can see that we have already little problems here. We see that it didn't work well, and the geometry that we did add has some problems of normals and things like that. So sometimes if you are lucky with just smoothing, it can help you. But what I did experience with this, it's that usually it creates more problems after. So another limit is I don't recommend to add some geometry during the sculpting in edit mode, okay? Create really the basic shape and after add the subdivision for it. So it will help you to not have this problem. So that's it for this method of adding some geometry with the multi-res here. So it's not something that I would say it's not a very good method if you want to be free with sculpting, okay? So let's go now with another possibility, and for this we will go back in object mode, maybe remove the Suzanne that we had here, and I will show you another method with another monkey maybe. Okay, let's go with another monkey. And just to add some basic subdivision into my model to have enough for sculpting, I will add a subdivision surface like this, increase the level until I have something like that. And now, okay, I'm good. I can apply this. And now I'm good for start sculpting into that object. So I come back into sculpt mode here. Good, so I will just apply this. And okay, I have already a level of subdivision that is interesting. Let's say I will go there. For example, you can see that I can just start to create some little details here very easily. Again, same level of subdivision that we had, but it's not a modifier that managed it. Okay, good. Now I want to show you the dynamic topology. So the dynamic topology here, it's something that is destructive, so it's not something non-destructive. You will not come back to it after. So here, now you can see that I will change the level of subdivision by using the tool by itself. So let's go here. When I enable dynamic topology, you can see that I have triangles everywhere. Before I had quads, now it's triangles. So I will just show you here with the quick shortcuts into the quick favorites here. Nothing there. Here, please. Okay. So in Sculpt mode, you can see that now I have only triangles everywhere. But what is good with this tool is that when you make a stroke, okay, with dynamic topology, it will create new topology if you have the good tool. Okay. Okay, you see if I zoom out, I will add less topology. If I zoom in, I will add more. So it changes relatively to the size of the tool here. So that's what is good, and you can sculpt infinite details with that. So let's say by default you have your basic topology. If you want to zoom and add more definition into something, you can now just by create the right stroke, okay? And so it will really create the topology that you need for your stroke. Basically, it's a very, very good tool, but be careful. It can take a little of your video RAM, so be careful with that. But a big advantage of this is that you can really create crazy shapes without have this problem of subdivision that we had. Like for example here, let's say I would like to add here, where is it? The crab, the elastic hook, snake hook, yeah, it's here. Did change a little this behavior. Okay, so here you can see that now I can really add some shape like this, and it will create the geometry while I'm sculpting. Okay, you can change the dynamic topology here size. So you want more detail size, you increase the number of pixels, and you can play with relative details. So here you can see that if I zoom in, I add more subdivision, okay? Or you can play with constant detail in case you need a constant detail here, okay? You will just play with a number here. So let's say you have a part that you like into your model. So let's say this part is a good density for me. And now it did take this density and will add it at each stroke now. So now I'm sure that I have enough density to create some tentacles or to create some horns, something like that, very easily. You see that it adds the geometry directly. So it's very powerful for really change drastically your object, okay? So here I will just remove the wireframe to see a little the model. Same for the neck. Here we can really change this and add the geometry that we want. But you see that for big strokes like this, if your tool is big, you see that here it will slow down when you use the constant detail. So in that case, come back to the relative detail. It will be easier to manage a big shape, for example. Okay, it will add very low geometry, but it's not really that important. And then after you can add more geometry here and smooth it in if needed. Okay. So this is a very powerful tool. In my case, I use it only when I make horns like that or tentacles or things like that. The cons of this tool is that it slows down a little the computer. So you really need a really good graphic card, and yeah, so it computes a lot when you use that. Be careful of this. So this is the dynamic topology. And this was the second option to add some geometry for your mesh. Okay, so we have a last one that I want to show you. And in my opinion, it's the one I use the most actually to add some geometry. We have the only con of this one is that it's destructive. But honestly, it's really something easy to play with. So let's say, for example, you are in with a tool like this. For example, let's come with a monkey again, and see one of the cons of this maybe. So we come back into Sculpt Mode directly here. And let's say you like this kind of shape and you want to add some details into it directly. You remesh here everything. So remesh will give you a new shape and it will add geometry everywhere into the mesh. You have the level of details here that shows here. So if I go to 0.1, for example, and remesh it again, okay, no, 0.01, sorry. Okay, and remesh it again, okay, you can see here that we have this kind of level of details. Okay, so now I can start to sculpt directly. Okay, so into the wireframe view, you can see here how it looks basically. Okay, so this one is a very quick way to add some new level of division into your model. So you have two shortcuts to remember for that. You have the R. It's kind of shortcut to go here and show this voxel size into a more visual way, let's say. So R will show directly here the level, and you can click and drag to increase or decrease the level of subdivision that you want to add into your mesh. Okay, for example, let's say in the beginning of the sculpt, if you want to just create shapes, you will just use something like that, and Control R will apply the size that you did want. Okay, so R to change the size, Control R to apply the remeshing. Very easy to work with, and what is good with that is that it's useful for multiple shapes. Like let's say, for example, you want to create an arm shape. Okay, very easily. So let's go with that. With let's take a round cube. I like the round cube to work. I will increase the number of arc, or maybe not that much. We will keep it like that. Okay. And let's say you would like just to create with SZ, for example, a shape like this. Okay. Good. And now we will create a duplication of this. Okay, and you want another SZ. Okay, maybe this one a little more too. Okay, and now you will start to create the global shape of an arm. Okay, so let's say here we will have this. With another here round cube, I can just play and add here, let's say this shape here to create this. Okay, and you can add more to start to create the muscles if needed, but let's say we just start with this. Okay, select the entire one like this, make a rotation. So just adding a simple shape like that. Okay, just with basic objects. I duplicate this one, maybe create a shape like this. Okay, and then after you are happy with this shape and you want to start to create muscles on it or really change the global topology, so now you can go in Sculpt mode, and even if you have some shapes that overlap each others, that cross each others like this, the remesh option will work perfectly. So with Control R, you see directly you have the basic shape that you want ready to sculpt. You can after play with the different tools that you have here to create this. So now I come back into wireframe mode. Maybe I will come back here and increase a little with R the size, decrease a little the size to have more definition, and with Control R I just go there. I start to smooth down everything just like that, and it will be very easy for me to start the global shape of this. Okay, and then after I can play with the muscles and everything. Okay, so I did smooth everything down here, good. And then after, maybe I will start to play with the tools that I have, maybe the clay strips. The clay strips is good for adding some muscles. And so you will start to create more definitions into the shape that you want, okay? So here, maybe we will add something like this to add more definition. Here, maybe something like that. Okay, and you will create more organic shapes just like this. So I do it very quickly and strong just to show you how it works. And after I smooth down everything, okay, just to have more organic shape. Sometimes you need to change the level. Okay, so let's say for example here you want to increase the level, the global level. You come back and when you make a big change, like for example this, you just make a Control R, another one, and it will recreate the shape that you need and the new subdivision to play with. Okay, so it's quite easy to work with that, and that's why I really like to play with these settings here. So now we can draw a little the shapes of the muscles just like this. Okay, for example, for sure here I do it really quickly, but just with a Control R and smooth down again, you will start to see the good shape of a muscle appear here, for example. Okay, and then after you just have to continue this kind of skirting just like this. So this one is a very powerful method. Let's say for example you work into characters, you can play with this kind of models. So you remember here into the demo files, so we have the asset bundles here, the human meshes here, for example. So you can just open the file, for example, here, see the different characters that you have, and here it's perfect base meshes just to play for sculpting. Like for example, you just select all these ones here, you make a Control C, you go into your interface here, your basic interface, you remove that one and make a Control V. You will have your object ready oh, I didn't select all the fingers. But what is good with that, and it's that if you want to select an arm like this with the hand, for example, and you apply everything here, okay? Apply all. Is there anything that doesn't work well? Okay, you have to make it single user in that case. Okay, so just use this tool here. So in that case, you may Control A here and you apply visual geometry to mesh just like this, and with Control J, you will have an entire one like that. So what is good now, if I come back to Sculpt Mode, just be careful of the scale. Yeah, apply everything into it. Apply all transforms. It's always good. Okay. Good. And Shift N to recalculate the normals. Now you can come back into Sculpt Mode here and start to remesh this. Okay, with the level that you need. So here it needs something far less big. So we go with Control R, with R, sorry. So we just use R like this. And just with Control R, now you make your remesh. Start to sculpt into that. Okay. So imagine the gain of time just to have your simple shape to start to sculpt with. Okay. So it will be far easier to work with that. Okay, so that's the way usually you use this tool, the Control R and the R for the remesh option. So a very powerful one, and that's my favorite usually when I use sculpting. Now for the next video, we will see a little the basic tools that you will use often, the more often. Maybe some we will not use them, but at least the basic ones that we need to know how to use. So this will be the topic of the next video. In this video, we'll see the different tools that we have in the Sculpt mode. So let's go with our basic cube with Control 3, for example. Increase the level of subdivision here until 8 maybe. Yeah, even 9 might be good. Yeah, good, maybe, yeah. Let's see here with wireframe how it looks. Yeah, it's enough with 8. So we apply that and now we come into our sculpting tool here, our sculpting interface. So I will just enable this and I will show you basically the most important tools, in my opinion, are the grab here, the draw sharp here, and the clay strips or the clay. And for sure the smooth that you use always with Shift. So basically you will make your shape, the global shape that you want, with the grab tool here. It's very easy to manage. So for example, let's say inside view, for example, we just take a big stroke like this, a big tool, and we will start to manage the shape that we want. Okay, so with the grab tool, not with that one. Good. And now you can start to manage shape. So let's say we'll have a big neck here. Okay, that comes over there. And maybe here into side view, we will add still shape here, basic shape, just very basic. But you can see that just to manage a global shape of what you want, you can really play with this kind of tool here. The grab one is very important in front view after you just adapt the global shape that you want. Let's say I would like to make a kind of reptile here. Okay, so reptile shape. I can increase here for the details of the eyes. Okay, maybe put back this here. Increase this to have something more sharp over there as well. Okay, and then you will just start to make the shape that you want. Okay, so quite easy to understand. The grab one works pretty well for that. Then you have here, maybe I will increase that. Okay, something like this, a little here. Good. So now what you can do with this, while you have your shape, you can play with other settings here on another tool that is very useful. It's here the draw, the simple draw here. So we can manage the strain to have less and more. But for example here, just with air, we will start to remesh this. Okay, and with Control R, apply that. And here you can, for example, here just with not too much strain, start to draw here with Control and start to make the holes for the eyes, for example, over there. Okay. So let's add this maybe. Good. And you want to smooth, you just use the Shift key. I will put back here the screencast keys over there. Thank you. Please. Yes. Okay, good. And then you come back. I switch a lot between grab and this because sometimes I just want to make more expressions, for example, to add this kind of shape like this. Okay, and then I come back to that one here, the draw here. Okay, so just to add more details over there, for example. Okay, then I want to maybe remove a little here, make more shape here, add some details over there. So it's very good to add the basic details for a shape there. For example, maybe we want something with a nose, and then after you can just start to make the shape here just with Control key. Okay, so you see that very easily you can start to make the shape looks good. And then after you want to add more division maybe. Okay, so we'll go with something lower, not too low. Let's say something like this might be okay. Okay, and then we make Control R. Now we have more division and we can start and we can continue to start. And so you see just with the draw and the grab, you have already a lot of possibilities there. Okay, so and it works pretty well. Okay, you can play with this very easily. So another one that is important in my opinion is the here the draw sharp. Okay, so the draw sharp can help you to create some wrinkles, for example here. So if you have a very little one, you can create some little details into your model, okay, for example. Or with a bigger tool you can make some crease, for example, into your model with maybe a strain not too much. Okay, you can make, if we invert the tool with Control, you can see that you make this kind of shape like that. That could work well into that model, for example. Okay, still I maybe don't want this. Okay, and you can increase the sharpness of some places into your design just like that. Okay, very easily. As you can see, it works. Or let's say we want to create the mouth of this kind of reptile here. So we could just go with a big one and with the control key, not with the control key, but maybe with a strong one, maybe 0.7. Let's see how it will work to create this basic shape. Okay, it works not that bad. Maybe something like this. Okay, and maybe we come back here to increase that level. Good, so we have kind of dinosaur shape here. And just after we can just be, so be sure to be in front of the geometry or it will not work well. Maybe this might be better. Okay, good. So now after you can just add more geometry into the lips, for example, with the draw tool here and add more definition into that maybe. Okay. You can come back with the shift key. Okay, increase a little the sharpness of this maybe with the control key and the draw sharp again. Okay, and you can just create things like that. So with not too strong, 0.3 might be good. Okay, something like this, and then you can smooth down this part. Good. You want more here, you add more here, and etc, etc. You can see it's just a matter of time you spend into your model. If you want to crease your model, you have the crease polish and the crease sharp. So let's say, for example, we would like to crease a little this mouth here. So we just have to make this kind of shape, okay? Very easily. So this one is the polish, so you can see it polishes around, and you have the other one here that is more strong, okay? So be careful of this one. Maybe the strength is really strong for the crease sharp, but yeah, let's keep the polish for that. Okay, maybe not that big tool and not that strong. Okay, and now you can just make something sharper over there. Okay, let's say good. Again, if you want to increase the sharpness of this crease over there, you can just go there and pass into it, just maybe with less strength. 0.1 might be good. And you can see that now if you smooth around, you will have a clean shape over there. Good. So you just add your eyeballs here and you will start to have a basic character just like this. So another one that I like here to use is the clay. The clay strips here helps to create some really, if you want to build your shape, okay? So let's say, for example, we will have big muscles over there. Okay, we'll use this tool with a strength near 0.3 might be okay. And then you just draw like that, okay? Draw like if you would draw around the shape of this muscle that you want to create. So, and you follow the line of this muscle here. Okay, so it will create a shape like that. Say we'll have a double thing here, and then after you just smooth everything with a big smooth, just like this. Okay, with Shift key. So you will just create the basic shape of your muscle over there. Okay, and you can even come back with the crease here to increase the sharpness here around the muscle. You can see that it works pretty well, and you can even make a direction more on this muscle like this. Okay, so yeah, can be useful as well to add some muscles in some places. This muscle is not really well in the place that it should be, but yeah, you can see how it works basically. Here you have the blob option that, as it says, creates some blobs. Okay, so very easy to understand. If you add more, if you want to create some kind of spots or things like that, just play with different sizes. Okay, so let's say here you add one size, a little everywhere like that, and then after you increase a little the size and you add more. Okay, and let's say after you decrease a little the size and you add more between them. Okay, so you want to create a kind of bad skin, really not beautiful, and so you will just create this kind of basic shapes just like that, and it will work very well for the purpose of the sculpting, as you can see here. So you will have this kind of result. So works well as well. Here you have the inflate or deflate. So inflate or deflate, it's just increasing or decreasing. It's exactly the same tool that, like in edit mode actually. Yeah? So it just when you use control, it will just remove some geometry like this. So let's say into that area we would like to remove some, or with this one here, the normal one here. So it will, if you use a big one, it will create this kind of shape over there very easily as well. Okay, so it can be good to add some geometry. Let's say we would like a kind of double crest here, a big one. We make a control R when we see that we don't have enough geometry, and again we add and we add more geometry. Another control R might help. Okay, more, and then we start to make this kind of creased over there. Okay, so then after you make a control R, you smooth everything here, and then you could, for example, create a better shape on top view with the J1, with the G1, so the grab here. Okay, let's go for this and create a kind of shape like that. Might look a little better. Okay, so you can see that you are free to do what you want in Sculpt mode actually and create really the shapes that you want to create. So it's a very powerful tool. I come back here with this kind of options here to show you a little how it works basically if you want to sharpen that. Okay, so I will add more sharpness into this here and there, smooth a little around. And so yeah, you see that you will increase and increase the level of details here. Okay, so basically that's what I will use the most often. You have more specific things that you can use and that can be useful in some cases. So for example, here you have the layer one. So the layer one will add a layer like it says. So it will be really something, a good advantage of this one is that you can come back into the first stroke and it will not increase more. Okay, so this is something that can be very useful to draw a shape like that. Okay, and with control key for adding a new layer like this very easily, so easy to understand. Okay, so here we have the fill deepen. So let's come back into the layer and make something like this. Good. Okay, so let's say you would like in that area to fill that space. You come with this and it will fill the space. Very easily to understand. Okay, very easy to understand this one. Here we have the flatten contrast, so it just flatten or contrast more. If you use the flatten, it will just flatten as it says. If you use the contrast, so if you increase, if you use the if you use the control key, it will increase the details, okay, and show more the details like this, okay. So be careful, it can make crazy things as well, okay. Here you have the plateau, so everything will be into a plateau that is related to the view. Sometimes it can be useful as well. And here you have a scrape multiplane that helps you to create this kind of crease like that, okay. And it will automatically detect outside. So in that case, for example, I would like something here with more strength, okay, and increase and scrape this like this, okay. So yeah, can be useful in some cases. You have the real scrape. So the real scrape is a very useful one if you want to create these shapes over there, something like that, okay. It's a kind of bevel actually. If you have something sharp in front of you and that you want to break it, you use this tool. So you can put it at 1 here sometimes and just make a single stroke like this. Will bevel everything. You can see the result here. So sometimes it's useful. Here you have the smooth. So the smooth is exactly the same that we use with Shift key. So you can manage the strength of the smooth. And the trim here, yeah, the trim will just again create something like this, okay. So it will trim. Then you have all the move here. So you have the grab, the elastic snake hook that we did see already. You have the grab 2D here that can be interesting as well. The boundary here, I don't use it that much here. You have here the nudge and the pinch magnify, the pose and the pull. Honestly, these ones, I don't use them that much, except, sorry, for the pinch magnify that I like to use when I want to pinch something. It's very useful to sharpen some places. Like for example, here, if I want to sharpen that and have something sharpen, I want to sharpen some places. And I can, okay? So it can just help you to sharpen this. Can look good like this, okay. And then after you have more specific ones, yeah, the snake hook, as we said. So if you want to create really good horns or things like that, you go with dynamic topology in that case, okay. Maybe increase a little the size of the non-dynamic topology here. So maybe if we go to 60, something like that. No, not 60, it was the invert actually. So 1, maybe 2, let's say, just for start. Yeah, it will create good shape now. So let's say you would like to create horns like this. A good direction, something like this. Okay, good. And you will have a shape of an horn that you can come back after. Maybe if you want to inflate it in some cases, in some places you just inflate a little the entire one, like this, and you will have a nice shape here. Let's put some others here with the snake hook. Again, maybe over there. Not really that much. Less big maybe, something like that. And maybe something like this here. Okay, we'll have a dragon. Looks more like a dragon. So here you can really play with the settings here. If you want to sharpen it, you just smooth it a little like this. And then after you come back maybe to the basic shape into the base of the horn, you can add more details with this one, for example, just to add more here, for example, over there. So maybe not that one without the dynamic topology, or it will slow down, as you can see. I will just make a Control R and smooth down all of this. Okay. And let's say, yeah, I would like to add more kind of root shape for this one here. As you can see, it might work well. Good. It will make the shape more interesting. Again, I can do that here. Turn around the object. Good. Add more definition into that. And then you can see that you will have a basic shape quite easily, actually. Working with that is a kind of freedom of creation. You will really can create anything you want with sculpting and a little of time of practice. So the goal is to practice the tools, practice, and practice again. It's very important. If you don't practice your toolbox, you are not, it will be difficult to create good things. In the beginning, when you make sculpting, you will make some, let's say, potatoes, potatoes shapes, and it's totally normal. I mean, here I'm just with the mouse, with the draw tablet, it would be better, but you can imagine the freedom of creation that you have with that. Okay, so just with simple tools here, having a basic shape already can be very good like this. Maybe I want something a little more sharp over there, so I can come back with the crab one here into side view, take the right place, and maybe go there a little more like a dragon shape here. Depends of the dragon that you want to make. So what is good in that case, for example, you could continue and increase the level. What is good here is to just add eyeballs, can really help for that. So what you do in that case, you just make shade smooth here for just an eye, and just you place it well into the space. So let's place it here into the ball and into the hole that we did create. The eye has to be is bigger usually than what we think, so maybe this size might be good in that case. Good, so now I will add a modifier. This modifier will be a mirror, and I will take this object as a reference for the mirror object. Like this, it will go directly there into the other side. Now I can come back into my object here and come back to Sculpt Mode. So I might maybe use this one to add more definitions to the eyes, around the eyes. So maybe I will grab a little this space over there. Okay. And then I will start to draw around with this. Good. So now I can add more here with the clay strips maybe, or maybe just a simple draw. You will come back into the tools here to see the tool. Okay, the strength is good. Now I will just can increase the detail for the eyes itself. So add maybe more definition there. As you can see, it works pretty well to add more expression and to add more details. Good, so we are good with something like this. Now I would like to sharpen this and move this. So you can see after it's just a matter of time that you spend into your skirt here. Okay. And you increase and increase the level of details just by using the tools that we have in front of us here. Okay, maybe I want to sharpen this a little. and add a line over here. Good. So you can see that it's quite easy to create good geometry just for a simple design of dragon like this. Okay. In the next video, we will see more tools that we can use. We see that all these ones we did not touch it for now. So most of them we will use them more specifically, let's say. But yeah, I want to show you that into the next video, but only with the basic ones that I show you already. You can create very simply all the shapes that you want. In this video, we will see the other tools that are available in Sculpt Mode. So they are a little more exotic, let's say. But we will continue this dragon shape here, over there, and see what we can do with that. The first one that is very, very important and not exotic at all, and that you will use very often, is the mask tool. So the mask tool is a very powerful one. If you want to play with specific shapes and add little details, like for example, let's say we would like to add maybe shapes like that into our lips over there. Okay, so let's go here and draw simple shapes like this, okay, that we don't want to be influenced by the sculpting. So that's what is powerful with this technique, is that you can create things like this, for example, okay. So in that case, when I draw a shape like this, I will have something that will not affect here the sculpting. So if I draw something into it with the draw tool, everything will be affected except this shape, okay, that I did draw. So in that case, it's not really what I want. I would like something to draw only in the thing that I did draw here. So what I can do, I can go into the mask and invert mask. You can see that you have a lot of possibilities of masking here. And yeah, it's a very powerful feature. Just here, I will just invert the mask. Like this, I can sculpt into this and add more details far more easily, just like this, as you can see. Okay, so it's just a simple example how to add some details like that. Now I can clear the mask, go into sculpt and the mask, sorry, and clear the mask. Now I will have the details that are here. Okay, I can make a Control R and maybe make a little smooth for that. Anyway, it's just to show you how it's easy to add some details. Okay, I will smooth this part as well, just to remove these details, because we will create really better details into that. So I will even use this tool to flatten everything and then smooth a little that part, that area. Good. So now that we have this, we can continue. So we have the sculpt mask here by default, but we have different masking tools here. Okay, you have the masking over there, I think. Is it here? Is it not here? Box mask, yeah. And in here you have all the mask tools that you have. So you can just create a mask like this, okay? Or just use a lasso mask as well, okay? It will work perfectly to create this shape. So be careful with the x-axis, with the x here, it will draw the other side as well. You have the line mask, you have the polyline mask. So yeah, as you can see, for masking, you have a lot of tools that are available to play with. So this is a very powerful tool. or even if you want to draw little details, like for example, maybe a logo or something like that, you go with a draw. Okay, with control you can remove some parts. Okay, let's say you want this kind of shape. Okay, so we will create this shape over there, and then you will have something like this. Maybe we want a circle here. Okay, maybe you want to create something different over there, just basic shape like this. Okay, just to create and add some details. Again, you use the mask here, you invert the mask, and then sometimes it's good to use the layer in that case. So in here, I will use the layer with a strength at 0.2, and like this, I just have to draw the shape that I want to, let's say, extrude. Okay, and if I want to extrude inside, I use the control key like this. I can use just like this very easily, add some details or remove details in case I need. Okay, so I will use a depth here, a height at 0.01 maybe. Okay, with control key, I just draw like that, maybe 2 times. Okay, and I will have here, I come back with the mask and clear mask, and now I will have my details. So very easily you will can again add some details into your object. Okay, I think it's Alt M. Yeah, Alt M to remove the mask like this. So yeah, the mask tool, a very powerful one. Another one that can be very powerful is the face set here. So you can draw some face sets, and in case you want to smooth things or to draw something only in a face set, it will work as well. The only thing that you have to do here into the brush is to, you see that I draw into the entire model here. If you want to draw only into the face set, you go into the options here, no, the advanced here, sorry, and you use the face set boundary, the auto masking, and you see that now you will draw only into the face set. So sometimes it can be useful. What is good with this feature is that you can add multiple face sets just by drawing like this. Okay, you can transfer mask to face sets. For example, here, select from face set from mask or from visible. Here, if I come to visible, it will erase everything like that. Okay, so it can be useful to work with face sets as well. A very powerful feature here. What could be good to see here is the painting tools. So you see that you have here some paint over there, where it is here. Anyway, it's everywhere here. So you can see that you can paint directly into your object here. You can really paint your object like you want, exactly like in texture paint, but it will create a kind of specific painting for the sculpt mode. So just for showing your object can be very good. You can add some textures. It's exactly the same options that you have into the texture paint, but you will not paint on textures. You will paint on vertex, so it will be different. Okay, so here, for example, here, if you want to draw something, I don't know, maybe something green into that, you can see that it's the pixels that will define, it's the faces and the vertices that will define the level that you have here. So sometimes it can be a little annoying, but just to add a basic color to your object, to showing it, and maybe paint everything here, it's very easy to paint like that. So to show your sculpt in better condition can be good. Okay, so all these tools here are for painting, so very easy to understand. Here we have some cloth tools, so that are very powerful here. Let's say I take a grab cloth here. You can see that it will create a kind of a kind of so it can be a little, yeah, as you can see, it takes some time to react because it's a big influence, but here you can see the result. So it will directly create a closed simulation and create all the folds that you want for this. Okay, so can be very useful when you want to create. In that case, it will not be useful at all. But in some cases, you will can create some interesting things for closed designs and for character design. So you can pinch with close, inflate with close, you can grab, drag. So yeah, can be very useful in some cases. Here I will just drag, you can see the result directly here, okay? So yeah, in some cases just to add some folds can be good this. Even if honestly I don't use these tools that much, even if they are very powerful. Okay, so here all the pink ones here are the cloth. What you can use as well here that we don't have here, you have the box trim here or all the trims. So it's a little like this tool, okay, that we have in object mode, this one here, but it works specifically for this one. So let's say, for example, I would like to cut a part over there. So I just create a line here just to come here. I come back to that one. I wait a little and it didn't work that well. Maybe here it will work better. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it did work. And you did see that here it did add a good face set directly. So in case you want to trim a part of your object, you can use this tool here. You have the line project. Again, it will just project all the geometry into a line. So it's different than trimming here. Let's say, for example, I want to project into a line like this. Okay, something like that. Not this one, this one, thank you. Okay, so just click and drag like this and it will keep everything there. So it works pretty easily. But if you see here the geometry by just showing the wireframe view here, okay, so what it does basically, it's this. I want to do it not like this, but yeah, it takes all the geometry and moves it into a simple line, okay? So it's not really a cut, it's just taking the geometry and scale it into an axis that you define, okay? So it can be useful in sometimes, but be careful if you do something like this, let's say, maybe something like this, okay? It will create this kind of geometry, so crazy shapes, just like that, okay? Just by see that, okay? So it will not work well. So sometimes it will require a remesh after to make it work well. Just like this, for example, and just after you make a Control R to remesh. It's very fast and efficient. So sometimes just to show a skirt like this can work easily if you want to cut like that. Okay, Control R, and now you have your cut that is done, and it's far more efficient than this because it doesn't require a Boolean operation. Okay, here you have some filters, so you can make some apply a filter to the entire mesh here, or everything that is not masked. Like for example here, let's go for the mesh filter. So you have the inflate. So here you can see if I click and drag, I will inflate the entire mesh just like this. Okay, sometimes it's very useful. Or here you have the smooth if you want to smooth down everything. Okay, and it will smooth the entire mesh just like that. In some cases it can be useful. In some it can be you have the sharpen here if you want to sharpen things. So sometimes makes it can make the job for what you want to do here. Okay, here you have the close filter, here you have the color filter. It's the same as this ones for the colors and here for the clothes. Okay, here you have the edit face set if you want to edit the face set that you want, and mask by colors in case you have some colors, some painting into your object. Okay, so that's it basically for the second part of this. Maybe we will just add little details into that object with textures. And for this, we will see how it works, basically, how to use textures to play with your sculpt. And we will see that into the next video. In this video, we will see how to work with textures. So here what you have, what I like to use as an interface here is use the tools here, for example, and use the textures there. Like this, I can really manage well. So when you use textures for sculpting, you will use alpha brushes. So alpha textures, if you want to search on the web or something like that to have your alpha brushes sets, you can just download for free into this website. So here you have the ZBrush Alpha Center, so you can download into this. You will have some brushes, some textures, so it's black and white textures that will give depth information for your model. You can use the ArtStation, for example, if you want to buy some sets, so you have a lot of high quality stuff here. And you can even use the Polyheaven, okay, here into the textures. If you see, for example, the terrain here and that you want to make some rocks or something like that, you will have here some depth here, okay, and you can use these textures black and white as well. Okay, so it will help you, the height map, to just create some rocks just like this. Okay, so let's go now and start to use. So what I did download a few into this website to show you the effect of this. We will go there and create a new texture. Okay, the texture will be an image or movie. We will open it and we will go into alpha, so it will be into the source files, into using textures folder here, and you will see here the textures. So what can be good in that case is to show the texture, because some are in PSD and you can maybe not see them directly into Windows, for example. And here you will have some basic textures that can be used for your project. So here, let's take, for example, that one here. Okay, the rock or the wrinkles. You can see the wrinkles here. Okay, good. Then you will open the image. Okay. So into the textures, you will find back here the texture that is related to the tool. So it was in Draw Sharp. Here I don't want it into Draw Sharp here. So I will go maybe into layer. It works well with textures usually. And what I will do, I will go into stroke and use because here, if I just do that, you can see that it will not work. You have to put the texture first. Okay, so let's go into the texture, select the texture that you did create. Okay, and then if you click like this, you will create the wrinkles. Okay, and if you make control click, you will create the wrinkles like this. So it might work very well in that case. Let's continue that, and maybe for this we will not use this kind of settings. We will use something a little different. We will go into the stroke here and we will use anchored. Like this, we will just click and drag what we want. Okay, then you select the strength with the height here. So maybe 0.03 might work better. okay, maybe even bigger, 0.06. Okay, starts to look good. Good. So now if you want to use the control key, you will can draw and start to draw the wrinkles into your object directly like this. So very easily you will can add some details into your nice dragon, just like that. As you can see, it's not that complicated and it looks great directly just to add some details, okay? So can be useful in that case. You can use that as well for this to add some kind of textures into the horns, something like that. So let's 0.03 here, just with control click, add a few clicks like this. Okay, maybe bigger for some to not have this repetition here. And look, it looks pretty great for what we want, okay? Just to add some texturing into that. So the wrinkles works great, but you can really play with a lot of textures there, okay? So let's maybe create another one. So by going here, and or just maybe we can create another just by remove this one, create a new one, and open a new, okay, just in alphas here. And it works with rock textures or noise textures as well. So for example, let's take maybe that one, okay, and the image. So you will have this kind of behavior now, okay? I will increase the height 0.06, and in some cases, if you don't want to increase too much the level here, as you can see, it increases a little the level too much, 0.1 maybe. Okay, you can see now the result here. So you can play here with the hardness if needed, and the auto smooth and the normal radius. It might help to have better results if needed, okay? Some cases the normal radius here will add nothing here, and here, yeah, works pretty well. Okay, so just a rocky texture that you can add into your model very easily, just like this, okay? Let's come back to a normal one. And yeah, after you have all the possibilities of sculpting with that, so you can imagine that there are a lot of possibilities. Something that came into the Blender for something, I think, or maybe before, it's the VDM. So here you can really imagine with the PSD and the PNG files here, it's just height that is changing. Okay, so no possibilities to add, for example, an entire nose or an entire here a horn or something like this. But we have, I will just open a new Blender. We have a demo file again of this. You go into Sculpt into demo files of blender.org, and I will open that here, the VDM using brush here, okay, demo, and I will open that. So here you see the possibilities that we have. You will add an entire horn directly. So it creates the entire geometry just like this, very easily, as you can see. No dynamic topology, you don't need anything. It will work pretty well to add this design. So yeah, this one is a very powerful one, and you can see that you have a lot of possibilities here. You have the mouse, you have the scales here, for example, to add some scales. Just like that, you move it, you scale it down with F, okay, and you will can create directly this kind of motion into that, okay? Very easily add some scales just like this, and it works pretty well. It's really awesome. So if you want to import this into your model, you just have to go into the brush assets here, okay? And as it's assets, you just import it as assets. So you come back here, for example, there into your object, into your project here, and you just go into the edit folder, the preferences, and you will go into the file path here, and I will add the new one. So it will be the VDM using here, and I guess it's the textures. Will it be here? Maybe it will work directly with that as an asset library. It works directly. You can see that here you have directly your assets that goes here. So now I can just save my preferences, and I will always have my assets directly there. So I can choose that one and start to sculpt with very easily, as you can see. So to add more details, for example, maybe we could remesh that with a lower value, okay, with Control R. With R, we will see the value, so it was 0.07, maybe not really enough. And with Control R, we will see a little 1 million vertices might be good to start sculpting precisely. And now we can start, for example, to add some scales under the eyes, okay? Very easily, you just click and drag like this, your scale, just like that, and it will work pretty well. As you can see directly, just you can control the direction of it. You can really have a nice here result, very quick. Okay, as you can see, you can increase and decrease the size if needed. Okay, just click and drag to follow the direction that you want, and you will create very nice details very easily like that. Okay, let's create a line here, over there. So you can see it's quite easy to add details just like this, as it is very easy. Just follow the line here, and you will have a nice line of scales over there. So you can just play with that and increase the level of details. You want to add a horn somewhere, you will have a horn directly, maybe here. Okay, and this one doesn't work that well. Yeah, click and drag for that one, sorry. So just click and drag here, and you will have a horn, okay, just like this. So maybe something like that. I would prefer, honestly, to use the stroke, not space, but more the anchored for that one. Like this, I can control the direction here, okay? It will be far more easier. So let's say I will want something like this here. Good. And another maybe over there, just to add details. Okay, and maybe another one here as well, as we want more details into our dragon here. Then after you can smooth that if needed, okay, at the beginning of it if you want to. You have really a lot of possibilities with these VDM brushes. You can add some eyes directly. You have eye creator, for example, to have this level of subdivision. So here, let's imagine we smooth everything down, okay? And just with one texture, just like that, it will create the eye directly with a nice shape, okay? And then this shape, you can move it. You will have already the details. You can move it with the G brush, okay, with the grab brush very easily to come back and to fit the design that you want, and you will have really nice details very easily, just like this, okay? You can see that it works pretty well to enhance your sculpting very easily. So yeah, for this kind of textures works very well. The VDM brushes, you can find them directly into ArtStation or things like that. Usually it's something that you will have to pay. Okay, but honestly, with this already, you will have a lot of possibilities, just what I'm showing to you. And just if I come back here to the classic here layer 1 with the texture, the classic texture that we had, so it's already really powerful to play with that. So let's take another texture maybe to create a skin for that. Let's go with alphas here, and you can see that we have different skins over there. Let's take that one to see if it works well. Okay, and just with this, honestly, you have already this kind of design that works. Okay, can be really powerful for that. Okay, let's change the texture maybe and grab another one, maybe something like that for scales. Okay, and now you will have this kind of details very easily again. Okay, so maybe we will not use a height that high, something like 0 0.4 0 0.04, sorry. Okay, and then after you just manage the direction of it, and it will create nice scales just over the surface, just like that, around the horns. Okay, and then you can add scales everywhere into your design. So it's quite easy to manage this and really creates interesting patterns for skin details. Okay, let's say I have a skin details or detail over there. I want to change a little over there and maybe select another one. Let's see a little what we have. Maybe that one might look good. Okay, and like this you can change a little the pattern that you have. Okay, maybe this with 0 0.02 might be enough, or even less, 0 0.01. Okay, you manage the strength like this, and after you just have to go over your object and add the details very easily, as you can see. Okay, so like this you can increase the level of details. Let's say you want to add some scales into this crease here. Maybe you could use this one. This one works well as well, something like that. Okay, to put this kind of details. So this time you will increase a little at 0.1, I guess. Yeah, to have something like that. It's a little too strong, 0.1. 0.05 might be good. Good. And now you will have the possibility to make this. Okay, look, just with a few clicks, you will have nice details that will appear all over this crease. Okay, and maybe that one as well. Good. So be careful with the here the symmetry over there. Sometimes you have to enable the phaser option to make sure that it will not grow too much. And here in that case you just go there like this and find the good spot, and you can see that again it works pretty easily to add some details. Okay, just like this. Honestly, it's very I really like to work with Sculpt Mode. It's something that I really enjoy. I don't make it often enough, but I really enjoy it, and it's quite easy to manage when you use textures and things like that. So you can just continue this design, for example, if you want, or create your own from the beginning. As you see, it's not that complicated to make a simple shape and start to work with. Don't hesitate to work with images. With images to see a little the reference if you need. Okay, I will go there. Maybe a last one. Add some wrinkles a little into the rest of the design, just like this. You can sometimes add more definition into it, just like that, very easily. into the horns as well. A little of texturing just like this will help to make it more realistic and organic, let's say. Okay. Yeah, it works already better. A little more here. So maybe with less strains. A little more here. Okay, just in these horns. This one, we can keep it like this. And honestly, you have already something that you can really show. Just add some scales, maybe a little more here and there, and you will have your design, okay, ready to use. So just with these features, it's so interesting to play with this and add more details to your design very easily. Like for example, here you want a big one, you add a big one, and that's it. You remesh everything if needed with Control R, and after you have what you want. Okay, so be careful. After a while, it can take a lot of vertices, and so it can increase a little the VRAM. But honestly, you can really create some nice stuff very easily, just like that. Okay, so don't hesitate to play with that. That's it for Sculpt Mode. You have already a lot of things to play with. And we will see how works geometry nodes. So geometry nodes, it's parametric modeling, and you can play with this. It's a very, very powerful feature. So we'll see the basics of it. There are a lot of examples into blender.org, but we will see already the basics to see how it works, and you will see that it's a very, very powerful feature. So let's see that into the next video.